When I was around 5 or 6 years old, my sister and our family's friends' 2 sons were in a summer soccer league at a place called Summer Sport. My friend Julia and I would always play on the playgrounds while our parents watched the soccer game. It was a very friendly and safe place to play and to run off down the park a bit without worrying about anyone taking us. Never came across anyone suspicious. It was just a bunch of parents and grandparents watching their kids play, and tons of other kids playing on the playgrounds. One evening, my friend and I were playing when we both suddenly had to use the restroom. So we walk in the stall and realize there is no toilet paper. Being the big girls that we thought we were, we walked up to the concession stand, where this old man and a few others had worked at for years. The old man was tall, lanky, and wore creepy Harry Potter type glasses. We told him the bathroom was out of toilet paper and that we needed some because we needed to go. I can still remember what the old man said. "You girls run onto the bathroom and go, and I'll bring you the toilet paper." We were about to run back to the bathroom when my friend said, "Let's tell them what we did," being proud that we were brave enough to ask for help. So when we approached our parents, I shook my mom's shirt and said something along the lines of, "Mommy, the bathroom was out of toilet paper and we asked that old man for some, and he said he's going to bring us some and that we can go ahead and go." I remember all 4 of them exchanging the disturbed looks, and my dad and her dad said for us to stay there, not to go near the bathroom. They walked over to the restroom area and they first called out to see if anyone was in there, and no women responded. So they walked in and saw him waiting in the biggest stall, without toilet paper. I don't know what happened to the man, but I never saw him there again. I asked my dad what happened, and he said that when he and my friend's dad found him, they yanked him out of the stall and literally carried him by his arms to the office, which was above the concession stand. The man was fired and they did call the police, but he says he doesn't know what happened to the guy after they took him away in the cop car. He's not sure if he was charged or anything like that. He just knows 18 years later, he's never heard or seen the guy again. Okay, obligatory backstory. I live in a tiny town in northern Kentucky. When I say tiny, I mean microscopic. Nice neighborhood, if a little stereotypically southern. Low crime rate, everyone knows everyone, lots of fundamentalists, lots of pickup trucks. You walk to school, no school bus. The city is so small, you can get from one end to the other in about 20 minutes on foot. Big football town. Not much else to do really. The biggest points of interest are the church, the football field, and Kroger. This happened to me when I was 16 years old. It was a typical Friday night, and I was home watching and hanging out with my brother, who was 9 at the time. We recently had new neighbors move in next door, and their kid Austin was his age. They became best friends pretty much immediately. There's always a football game on Friday nights in season, and the whole town is there. Lots of my friends and his friends too. I wasn't partial to the games. Once I had seen one, I had seen them all. I would still occasionally walk down to the field and meet up with buddies to do something after, but that's about the extent of it. The phone rings and my brother gets it first. I'm quite sure we were playing a video game of some kind, and around this time, I'm fairly sure it was Smash Brothers Melee on the old GameCube. He was intimidatingly good for his age, and we had a nice sibling rivalry going. He always played with Roy and I with Marth. These matches were absolute nail-biters. He hangs up and tells me Austin is at the game with his folks, and can we pretty please go down and get him? I didn't want to be down there in a huge crowd of sweaty rednecks, and told him so. But Jen, his mom says he can't walk home without us. He wants to come home and hang out. We can do a 3-person tournament. Come on, Jen, please. Fine, okay, let's go, I said. It's a 10-minute walk maximum, and at least we wouldn't have to stay. We'll go down, and we're grabbing Austin, and then we're noping it back here to play some Melee. We head up our dead-end street, hang a left, and start down the main road. The sports complex is on this road, and it's just at the bottom of a hill. It was about twilight, and from at the top of the hill, we could already hear the marching band and the cheering. I didn't see many folks around, but nothing looked unusual. I really didn't expect to see anyone. Pretty much everyone was down at the game. Looking ahead, I could see parked cars lining the street, with the bulk of them right by the turnoff to the sports complex. He's doing the typical kid brother thing as we walked. Hey Jen, did you know owls can turn their heads almost completely around? Hey Jen, me and Austin had a shoe throwing contest and my shoe went so far I almost couldn't see it anymore. Hey Jen, look at this flower, it's awesome. At about the halfway mark, I see a gold SUV pull up across the street. just opposite where we were walking. It sits for about 10, maybe 15 seconds, and then a man gets out, just as we were passing by, so that he's behind us. An older guy, mid-40s. In retrospect, he screamed creeper, weasel face, tall and wiry, weird smile and sneer. At the same time, however, I didn't think twice. Of course, just a guy going to the game, probably meeting up with his family. Brother on my left, me on the right, we kept walking normally. After about 30 seconds or so, I heard shuffling. I turn around out of reflex just to glance at what's going on. This guy is gaining on us. Okay, no big deal, he's probably trying to not miss anything, but probably walk right on past. I would have loved to keep a brisker pace myself, but I had the kid brother in tow, and his 9-year-old legs just can't handle speed walking. We keep going as usual, but now I have made a mental note. A little more time goes by, maybe a minute, and I start thinking, wonder why he hasn't breezed on by us. The guy sure looked like he was in a hurry. So I turned around again. This man is right behind us, and I mean close enough for me to see the creepiest smile I've ever seen on the face of a person. Only he wasn't behind us per se, he was directly behind my brother. And when I happened to glance back, he had his arms out in front of him. He was reaching for my brother and almost had a hold of his upper right arm. I caught this motherfucker nearly in mid-snatch. I reached out my left hand and put it around my brother's back. Probably 5 seconds went by, but it felt like a lot longer than that. After I had an arm barrier, I do a quick scan of the street. There is no one else around. No witnesses, no help. I'm only 16. This guy's a lot bigger than me. What am I going to do? I lean down and say as quietly and calmly as I can, "Come on, Ross, let's get there. I bet I can go faster than you." I start to speed walk, and so does my brother. I can see the sports complex, and it's just down the hill. We are about a minute or so away at most. After about another 30 seconds, I'm not quite sure. The whole thing seemed to go by in slow-mo. I turn around again. The guy is speed walking too. He's matching our pace to keep right behind my brother, and he's gaining again. Now I really start to panic. He is really after us. There's no other explanation. Now he's almost in grabbing distance again. He's picking up speed. And he's smiling. Well, sneering. It was a predatory look. I turn back around and I see we are so close to the stadium. So fucking close. If we can just get down there a little more, the property opens up and there will be people everywhere. I have to get down to all those people right now. I try to sound calm, but I'm sure I didn't at this point. "Let's run, Ross. Come on. I'll race you." Let me take off running. I am looking more at him than what's ahead of me and trying to keep him in my sight the entire time. He thinks it's a game. He smiled and started running his little heart out. I remember feeling a tiny speck of relief. Oh good, he doesn't know he's about to get kidnapped and murdered. And he's pretty fast. He's in it to win it. I see the entrance to the stadium, and I think we gotta be home free by now. I turn around, and this guy is now running. It was one of the scariest moments of my life. I knew at that point, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this guy is only running to catch us. Well, not us per se, but my brother. He started to gain, but he's not close enough yet. I whipped back around and sped up to my personal max speed, and of course the kid pumps his own legs to the max, because he wants to win a race against his sister so he can brag about it. Once again, I'm looking directly at him more than the street in front of me, so I can be sure he's still there with me. I hear his thuds on the pavement, and I know he's getting close. My heart was sending electrical currents of fear to the rest of my body, and just as I heard him coming up right behind us, we hit the stadium grounds. It was a sharp left turn, and bam, people. There were people everywhere. It was halftime, and the adults were out in the entrance area smoking and talking. The view of the entranceway and all the people was obscured by a stone archway on the street, marking the stadium grounds. I had never been so happy to see a bunch of sweaty rednecks in my life. The guy came right behind, and the second he turned the corner after us and saw all the people, he panicked. I could see the surprise and fear in his eyes. I had turned around at that moment to see where he was, and I looked right at him and locked eyes with him in this beautiful moment. He looked around at everyone, looked at me, looked at my brother, and walked away, back the way we had all come. Ross was out of breath, but still nudged me to go and collect Austin. I said, "Give me just a second, man." I peeked around the stone archway and watched this guy walk, not run, back up the street. I stood there and watched him walk all the way back up the hill, walk across the street, get back into his SUV, and drive away. I think that's when it fully hit me. of the very real situation we were just in, and the very real danger. That guy was there to get us. What's more, he probably would have had we not made it to the stadium. The crowd spooked him, and most likely that's what saved my brother's life. We found Austin, but I made the whole gang wait until the game was over, and caught a ride with his folks. No burden on them, we lived right next door. I was shaken up for the rest of the night, and for a couple of days after. This kind of town is the last place in the world you have thoughts about being snatched in. I have also never told anyone. I never told my parents. I never told my brother. He's almost 20 years old now and could probably handle it, but I just never saw a reason to give him a complex about something that happened years ago. I also never told the police, and I have no idea what happened to Gold SUV guy. I don't know if he lived around here or far away. I don't know if he's been caught, went to jail, or if he's still out there somewhere. I do know for certain that he was there to kidnap my brother that day. I don't know what kind of fucked up plans he had for him, but then again I don't care to dwell on it. I don't know if I did the right thing or the wrong thing, or just how close my brother came to whatever the SUV guy had in the works. But I don't care to dwell on that either. So back in junior high, I was on the volleyball team. I live in a very rural community. Every year, the school would do a little fundraiser for all the sports teams at this tiny park. It had a couple of makeshift booths, kitchen area, and stage. Each team would come up with a game, and the players would take turns running that booth. In those days, I was attached at the hip to one friend in particular who I'm still close with. I shall call her Chris. Both of us played sports and attended this event together. Her mom dropped us off at the park and was to pick us up after the event was over, so we could help with cleanup. Both our working shifts were early, so we had a lot of downtime. We danced the night away, and right before the event was over, we decided to play football with some of our friends. This park is basically a bunch of fields and trees separating the different field segments. There is a parking lot where you first enter the park where everyone was parking that night. Directly in front of the parking lot is the location for all the booths. This whole setup is on top of a big hill, and at the bottom of this hill is where we played football, because we had just enough lights from the booth area to see. I was picked as a sitter for the first game. I get bored easily and noticed my dad's first cousin was walking around the parking lot. He's on the rescue squad and was basically patrolling it. Now this man isn't someone I have seen often in my life, but enough that I know who he is and he knows me. Right before this event, my parents went through a divorce. This man and his wife picked up some furniture with my mom for her new home. They were literally with us the entire day, about 2 weeks before this event. The following conversation just gets creepier the older I get. I walked up to my cousin and said, "Hey, how are you?" He responds with, "Hey girl," which is a very usual response for him, and wraps his arm around my shoulder. Again, very normal behavior for him, no red flags. He makes small talk and he asks polite questions about my family that I politely answer. The whole time we are talking, he asks normal adult questions, and I bring up the furniture he moved into my house. This is where things got weird. The whole time he is walking me around these cars with his arm around my shoulders. It's a decent sized lot, and I realized we were heading to the far corner, about 2 car lengths until we reach darkness and a grove of woods that circles down around this park. I stop, but he keeps gently guiding me towards this grove of trees. It's weird, and I'm starting to sense some red flags. His grip has also tightened up a bit, but at the time, I'm just confused about what's happening. I put my arm around his lower back and sort of spin us around so we get a few feet back towards the center of the lot. I've surprised him a little, but when we regain our footing, he just stops moving and stands there, arm still around me. At this point, I keep saying my friends are waiting and I need to go, yet he just keeps talking. I'm no longer letting him guide me around, and just when I'm about to kick him in the sunshine place, I hear Chris. She yells very loudly and comes running into the lot. She also makes a big show of getting her basketball coach's attention, saying we would be right over to do something. Finally, the death grip loosens and I walk away. My mind was reeling and I was confused, but I wanted this guy to realize I was onto him. I turned once I was a safe distance and said that I would tell my dad that he said hello. This goofy clown of a man straight blank says, "Who is your father?" I'm completely flabbergasted, but tell him my dad's name. Even though it was under bad lighting, I swear the color drained from his face. He just said, "Oh," and walked away. To this day, I have no idea who this man thought I was or why he was guiding me to the dark. We talked about both my parents and their divorce during our stroll around, so it beats me. I did tell my mom about the situation, and she just said that he is a goofball and to stay away from him. I know this isn't the creepiest thing, yet I just hope some younger person can learn something. I was too terrified of making a scene, and really thinking back on it, I was in danger. My friend Chris later told me she had watched part of what happened and got creeped out, because she realized where he was leading me and that I was very clearly trying to walk away. That's why she ran over screaming and got adult attention. It's so weird because as a young person, you're so afraid of causing a scene over nothing, but your safety is more important than that. If a situation ever makes you uncomfortable, do everything you can to get out.